I've never seen anything like this in my life. I gotta tell you, I get up every day and I'm mad. I don't want to be mad. My wife's mad at me every day too. Could you cut that off? Would you take that off? I mean, look at what happened. This was avoidable, you know, and the city has brought a lawsuit, and hopefully we win. But you know, it's very tough when you're the city. On the other side are 21 major Wall Street firms with billions of dollars of resources to battle you. You know, Wall Street bonuses at Christmas of 2006, before this thing all imploded, were $33.7 billion. Bonuses, right? Christmas of 2007, right? The whole world's imploded. $33.3 billion. You saw the packages to National City, to its executives. I mean, it is, look, you know, I believe in representative government, right? We should be able to do something about this, and we should complain to our senators and our Congress people as much as we can. But I have to tell you, this started in the third quarter of '06, and Washington has still not come up with a solution. Now, they've come up with money for counseling agencies, but we still don't have a solution. We still, you know, we're still finger pointing back and forth, and there's now, last time I checked, 10, 12 different bills coming out of Washington about how to deal with this. And I've given up. So I'm not looking to state government. I'm not looking to federal government. I'm looking to us. I think if we do this, I would much rather, now, if they want to join in later and earmark that dirty word, money for a county land bank later, that's great. But we really can't afford to wait much longer. So here's where we are. Time is our enemy. We have, this bill is now before the legislature, and I am told we've got about 30 days. It'll be, you'll be hearing about it soon. Maybe tomorrow we'll have a bill number attached. We've got strong support in the State House. We're going to have two tracks, one on the Senate, one on the House. There's going to be just a limited number of hearings. We're going to meet in the middle. And the good thing we have going for us is, A, I'm not asking for any money from the state of Ohio. B, there's no banks opposing this. Because we know if the banks oppose this, we'd be in real trouble. Because anything the banks want, they get. But I have to tell you, I am shocked about the payday lending thing passing. I cannot, here's a hand for the Ohio legislature here. There must be something going on here. I don't know. I think there's a trap here somewhere. But anyway, so that's where we are. And we're going to be asking all your city councils, though I think, you know, we've gotten some already, for resolutions we can attach a bill. And Chuck, if I could, why don't I take some questions that that they can ask of me?
Okay, I've got the first question. People get behind, they have equity, but they lose their job, they get behind in their taxes. So if this process goes through and they're delinquent, what happens to their equity?
Well, here's what happens. First of all, under the Ohio Revised Code, you have 5 years. You can basically stave off foreclosure about 5 years. So, interesting point about equity. The most recent statistic I saw said that 30% of the mortgages in Cuyahoga County are now for more than the property is worth. What I'm seeing more and more is that people don't have that much equity. It's a frightening thing for me to see what's going on. People who had equity all of a sudden wake up. I have to tell you, the Richmond Heights representatives, I have to tell you a story. One of my employees is a Richmond Heights resident, and without getting into the details, let's just say he has a house worth about $270,000, $30,000 in debt, combined family income, he and his wife, of $125,000. He received a letter from his bank yesterday saying, due to changed conditions, both locally and nationally, we have revoked your line of equity. They revoked his equity line. He has an 800 credit score. He has an 800 credit score, and they revoked his equity line. And I'm telling you, as dangerous as this mortgage crisis is, the thing I've always said is what's coming after it is even more, it's called the credit constriction. And as a former banker, I know there was a former banker here in the second row here from Parma Heights, but you know what's happening. Now there's an overreaction. So what you have in the way of equity, if you have delinquent taxes, all I can tell you is this, and it's the unfortunate part of my job, I'm required to collect it. It's a debt that goes ahead of a mortgage. It's a debt that goes ahead of IRS. It's the first debt. And Chuck, it's the hardest part of my job. I know that when we go away from tax lien sales and get back into the tax collection business, there will be foreclosures at the other end, and not bought by bank, but brought by my office. I guess that means me. All we can do is work with you. We give you up to 5 years. We'll give you multiple payment plans. But it's a primary responsibility of home ownership. It's one of those things you have to take care of, like paying the light bills and, you know, paying the gas bill to make sure that they don't shut it off in the winter.
Okay, question in the back?
Jim, when somebody like Litton comes to you and they want to actually below their REO, is there a price tag that you come with that? Because we're actually accepting their birth.
In a perfect world, Councilwoman, I'd like to say to them, 500 properties, 350 need demolition, okay, give me a check for $3.5 million. And I still think we may be able to get a check, but I think what we're talking about is property that has some value and a check. You know, the lawsuit brought by the city, I think gives us some leverage, but I think there is more litigation coming. There's litigation I know coming from the state of Ohio. There's a massive investigation involving the FBI. It's not that secret anymore. I mean, the fraud in this industry. See, I want to see some guys that have white collar shirts and ties going to jail. That's my dream. We won't see many, but.
Okay, question?
Yeah.
Scenario, 2 vacant lots in the city of Cleveland. They're owned already. I mean, they were actually purchased, but because of some problems, they were unable to pay their taxes. And so we were told that they could go to your office and ask to have those put in the land bank. And
Well, what would happen under 294, I don't know where the lots are, the condition of the property, I don't know if they're clean, if they're brownfield conditions, but if you have lots that, whether it's you or somebody you know that would like to get rid of them, they should just contact Gus Frangos, contact, what's her name, Evelyn Sternad, but we can accommodate that. We'll simply call my office, ask for Gus Frangos, or do you know which word it is? Look, why don't you talk to the councilman? I mean, they should just talk to.
Yeah, and then part of the problem, one of the reasons why this land bank becomes so critical is it's not just the vacant lot that's become a problem, because the city of Cleveland will take any vacant lot, provided the only due is the taxes. Many of the vacant lots have toxic titles, and that's a critical component of what Jim is trying to clear up. The toxic title problem throughout the region has become a problem. You have mortgage companies that have significant liens, mortgage companies that run a business, you can't get a good, clean title. And so that's why the city may not.
these are actually owned. They're actually owned by a person.
But if the person, if there's significant liens on the property outside of the taxes, if
Only
there's
the
mortgages,
taxes,
yeah,
okay.
and that, we can talk afterwards.
Council here, or also call Mike Sweeney in my office tomorrow.
We'll talk after
Mike
this.
Sweeney
We'll
in
talk
my
after
office,
the-
443-7400, ask for Mike Sweeney, tell him you spoke with me, and that you want to arrange for the transfer of these. What we can do is we can initiate the foreclosure on them, and we'll make sure they're directed through 294 to go either to the city or the local community development corporation. Let me just say this, you know, folks, this is not a 3 or 5 year solution. I just have to know that. If anybody thinks there's anything less than a generation or more view, then you're going to be sorely disappointed. I was elected to city council in 1977. In 1978, I was 23, and a guy named Lonnie Burton took me on a tour of the Central neighborhood. Lonnie was a great friend. He unfortunately, tragically died of a heart attack at age 38 back in 1983. But he took me through Central, and I'm thinking, okay, I can come from West 25th. I thought I knew tough neighborhoods. No, I didn't. I mean, there was nothing left. And what I saw was Lonnie's house, and one on the next block, and 2 there, and 3 there. I can almost see from his house almost all the way to 55th. Every one of those streets is built out today with new housing. 2000, 2001, 2002, Riser, and others. Think long term. When I was 23, 25 years seemed to be a lifetime to me, because it was. But as I get older, 25 years doesn't seem that long. Probably still too long for you, Nicole, but trust me. I look for somebody young in the room. You're the first I saw. So just start thinking long term.